Hello and welcome. I'm Eduardo Vilaro, the artistic director and CEO of Ballet Hispánico. And with me, it is my pleasure to have Gustavo Ramirez Sansano. Hola, Gustavo.
Hola, hola, hola a todos. Hi, everyone.
I am so glad you could do it. I know it's late where you are in Spain, but I'm so thrilled you could be with us. So thank you so much.
No, no, no. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure
So I
also
just
to
want,
see the piece.
yeah, it was really great. It brought so many memories, and I want to invite our audience to please send us questions. I'm going to start a conversation with Gustavo about the work, but we'll happily answer your questions. So, para empezar, to start off, Gustavo, el beso, the kiss is such a powerful, especially for Spain and Latin America, show of emotion. Talk to us about why the kiss.
I mean, first it was about the music. Like I love this music, and I wanted to do something, but I didn't have the why. Why? How do I put all those music into a piece? What is the line of the piece? And somehow for my whole life, I mean, since I'm a professional choreographer, I wanted to do something with this music. And somehow, like you asked me to come back to Ballet Hispánico, and I was like, let's look for it again. Let's see what, because I really want it, because I love to choreograph to pieces that I would love to dance, of music. And so like I realized that there is something really in common in all the lyrics, all the zarzuelas, which is they are all constantly kissing each other or talking about a kiss and the meaning of a kiss, and the kind of pressure. If it's more pressure, it means something. If it's here, it means something else. Like it has so many meanings, and also that made me to make the structure that I kind of made in the piece.
So let's talk about the structure. What were you thinking as you were building, or maybe does the structure come as you build, or do you already plan a structure before?
In this was kind of easy because I thought the best way was making sort of like sketches, like
Right.
if it was an study. So like the first kiss is the friendship kiss. So I was looking for music, and somehow I loved this one because in my own experience, it happened that like when I was in the school, for example, like we used to kiss a lot to each other. And so like some of those kisses, because I mean, when you're dancing with people, in the case of dance, you share a lot, you touch a lot to the other person, you trust the other person a lot. So like it creates this like union to other people. And I think in the studio so many times, especially in that age, when you're 16, 17, 18, you get confused with a lot of things. And it happened to me, the really good friend that I have now, that still is we got confused with the kissing. And that's what happened in the first one.
Beautiful. So I think you're one of the most musical choreographers I know. There's something about the way you utilize music. I felt using zarzuela, which is such a it's a classical form, even though it comes from the people, it's still a very classical form. And then and then your movement and your structure brings it down to the common people. That's what I felt about this piece. This is anybody.
I feel attached to all those music because, first of all, like in Spain, for example, like every little town has like a little orchestra without violins. And so like, and some of them, for example, the passion, what I call the passion, the male duet, like even though it comes from an opera, it's like a melody that it passed. I think even Mocedades made a version. It passed to the people in a way, you know.
Yes.
So like it's like in a way everybody, it's kind of that kind of music that everybody knows it, but nobody knows from where it comes from.
Yeah.
Everybody can like follow the lyric, the melody, and but nobody knows, like, or nobody even thought about why. Because it is true that like I think zarzuela and the classical opera, which was born just like 50 years after the Italian one, so it's not like operetta, it's a real opera. like in Spain, we didn't treat it well. I think like the French or the Germans or the Italians, they took care and they promoted I did El Beso in Germany, and it was with live orchestra, and the director never heard of any of those zarzuelas.
Really?
Never. And like he was like so impressed of the richness, and like he was telling me like, oh my God, like how it makes you vibrant, and like it gives you a good spirit, and it has a touch that not of the, I mean, it's true, like the German opera has its own way, the Italian, and this one has its own little way, you know. It just, I think we didn't really promote it well here.
What a shame, because the music, as you say, really has a feeling of many people, right? And for the people. So it makes you want to get out. It makes you want to walk and move and
dance.
And dance and dance. And I think that you captured that so well, even as you were kind of singling out the love kiss as opposed to family, as opposed to this. There was still a feeling that we are all part of it. And I thought that was really gorgeous and important. So when you are developing work, how much is it all you have a specific movement vocabulary, and maybe you can tell us where that comes from?
I mean, when I get to the studio, I know what is the structure of it. In a way, when I get to the studio, I mean, I'm always open to see what happens, because it's still a conversation between the dancers and I, but I know the structure of it. That might change because what happened there. But like when I get there, I know pretty much what's gonna happen. And in the movement, I think the movement is it's a whole study, in a way that you keep, it's like learning words on your own.
Right.
And so like I will not be able to speak about like what it is. I guess other people will be able to do it better than me. I know that it's something that I've been researching since I remember, you know, and especially when I got more professional also as a dancer, like I guess one of the main things that I was looking for, it was pleasure. Pleasure, and being able, from one side, pleasure, and from other side, how to be able to really speak. Not like, because we don't speak with words, we don't make meaning, we don't develop meanings, we develop feelings. But yeah, like it's a whole story until here. Like I don't know, like for example, I always explain the same story. Like I remember, like I thought I kind of have figured out how to move the arms and how to move the legs and how I wanted, how I felt that I liked it, how I wanted to work with those parts, but I didn't know how to, like there was still missing something in the hands. So, and I remember being in the subway and just like seeing from far somebody and just talking and how expressive they were with the hands, and somehow from far I could still understand what was going on with these two people, if they were fighting or if they were like, so like that was something that I took it from there, and I added also this gesturing, adding the feeling of that you are talking, even though it's like an explosion of talking.
Yeah, we forget. I totally, and sometimes we forget that we are very expressive when we talk. Even those people who say, you know, I'm not as passionate when I talk. We see movement in emotion in every.
No, because even the people that is not passionate, I'm sure if we analyze them, and from when they are relaxed to when they're passionate, there is a change. And some people explodes more, and some people explode less, and it has to do with what kind of country you live in, and
yes,
you know.
Yes. We have some questions, and I just want to pause to say thank you for your questions, and we'll keep answering them. So please keep sending them. The first question is, a kiss can have so many different meanings. How did you showcase these different forms of expression through your choreography?
I mean, one of the things that like while I was watching it, I wrote some things that, and one of the things that I wrote, in my opinion, a kiss is always positive.
Ooh.
Like even if the kiss is from yeah, like the I don't know, like there is something about the kiss that like it feels always positive, and the fact that the music, it gives this. I mean, I had a lot of music tracks. Like I had to like choose, and which one, with the idea, after I got the idea, which one it was kind of like the right match for each kiss that I was looking for. But yeah.
So we have another question from audience member Michelle Skiba. I hope I said that name well. Thank you, Michelle, for being with us. She loved the piece. It is an exciting piece. What inspires you as a choreographer?
I think that it's like everything, everything. I think like so many times when they asked me that, like some people even told me like they were looking for an answer like another choreographer, which they do. Other people, especially younger people, that they tell you what's happening and jump in if you can. But I think everything, like everything that happens around you, and obviously everything that has a relationship, something that touched me, and that would be the only thing that it's mine. Like things that that makes me interesting and that bother me, and that I think that I want to talk about. Like for example, the last piece I created for my company here, it was about empathy. And because it felt like I think all of the thing of the people coming from in the Mediterranean Sea was happening, and like you will hear people here in Spain saying like, we have to wait to the rest of Europe because it's not possible that it's just us that we are taking them. I mean, and while we were waiting, they just gonna be there in the middle of the sea. So like for me, it was really tricky to see that way of thinking. I couldn't understand that way of thinking, and especially because it was religious people that will say that. And so like for example, and then that was so shocked. And then I researched and I found things and even had a text. But like things are just coming. It is true that like I have a lot of things in my bag somewhere here. I don't even write it down. I just have them there, and music appears, and I make a track list in Spotify. That's something that I like, and then yeah, something like this, a news or something that happens around me, or something that happens to me personally, or something that I would like to remember, or a feeling that I like to remember, like when I did this piece, El Beso. Like it's a feeling of my youth. It's a feeling that like is so nice to keep on touching it, you know. And thanks to Ballet Hispánico and Luna Negra is where I started touching it, to that side of myself that I didn't touch until then.
Yes, and I think that people often think that artists react to life like politically, and it's like no, art, they respond to life and to what they've seen. We respond to what it is. So there's a question from Blank G Rem. Thank you for sending that, Gustavo. Who do you consider your influences?
I mean, if they're talking about choreographers, so things like that, I mean, obviously everybody that I dance for, because they all taught me what I like and what I don't like. I experienced it myself. Like, for example, I always say, like, I will not put a dancer clothes that I will not wear, because I had the experience of wearing stuff that I didn't want to wear. So, and also I had to say, like, they don't know sometimes dancers, but they give you solutions. They go to places that you cannot go, and especially the younger than you, because they have more in their brains. They have I don't know. So dancers is a big part of that creation. Like where to go. They guide you in a way. They guide you.
I have another question, again from Michelle Skiba. There it is. Has the new virtual course, this is a great question. Let's talk about where we are today with quarantine. And has the new virtual quarantine time changed your perspective on dance creation, choreography, or even the future of dance? This is a big question, and I love this question.
I don't think so, because I believe, and I believe that the things that we do, it's like it has to remain that way. We had to go back to the studio. We had to deal with the things of the studio.
Yes.
And even sometimes, even if I hate it, we had to go back to the stage and deal with how tricky is the stage and how old-fashioned. And it's horrible that like they didn't create this something that made it easier. But that's how it is, and that's how it has to remain. The creation itself, it keeps evolving, it keeps changing, I always say that like it's something that we keep on trying, and like you do something, and the fact that you premiere that thing doesn't mean that you are completely happy about it, or that it's finished, or like you when you do a new one, you expect to do it better than the one before, and at least not make the same mistakes, if you call it mistakes. But like that's a personal thing, but like as a thing in the world, it has to remain the same thing. And in myself, I know that we are gonna go back to how we did, because it's been like that for hundreds of years, and it has to continue like that. The only thing could get better is theater, I have to say. They had to find some way to make things easier. A little bit it got easier, but it could be easier.
Yes, you know, I think that we're in a moment that we are learning how to be artists while we're social distancing. It doesn't mean, you know, there are a lot of people who talk about, oh my God, I can't watch anything online because it's not what it should be. I think that's that yes, I understand that, but
no, this is a moment. This is a specific moment. It's like everything. It's like you walk on the street and then a bike hits you and you break your leg. It's a moment. You have to stop. You have to stop, but like you stop with the thinking that you're gonna go back, because you have to keep walking. You have to keep walking. Or at least we're gonna try really hard to keep walking.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you said that, because it is a moment that you reframe how you're thinking, because you can't walk, right? So you have to change the way you're doing things.
And it is true that maybe like new things can come from this, but it's an ad. It's not one for the other one. Is we add this new experience that we're having, and that it gives us new ideas. So we add this to all the big bag that is dance. So we add this other layer.
I love that. I love that. So Gustavo, you've been working on a new piece that we've asked you to do, a solo with company dancer Shelby Colonna. What has your rehearsal process been like via Zoom? Does this impact your process?
I mean, it is. I was really lucky that I got Shelby, because I love her. And I mean, if I was my Carmen, and she like, that is something since the first time when I saw her in that she just entered. She was even an apprentice in the company when we did Flabbergast. And I already put her, because there was something. So when you told me, and you told me on top of that was Shelby, I mean, I love all the girls, but like I love Shelby. So in that way, it was like so nice, because I mean, it was nice to stop for the first month. It was nice to completely stop, because it is true that we never stop. And like, even though when you go on holidays, or you make a busy holidays, or emails that keep on coming, and you still have to process some papers, and that. And for once, we really stopped, because we didn't know. Like, there was so much uncertainty. And so it was so good, and it was perfect to start. I knew I wanted to do something refreshing and nice and with the flavor of Spain, and I found this music that that there is probably in Spotify like 2,000 versions. That's Lady of Spain.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it's nothing. I just want to kind of like in those 3 minutes reflect the power of music, that has like in 2 seconds that you hear something, it can transform the space that you're in. You can have a little trip in a few seconds.
Right.
And that's it, a little trip of this girl that is in quarantine.
So you have a company in Spain, Proyecto Tito Yaya, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering what's the future for you? What do you want to do?
I mean, the company had all tour planned until the end of the year. It is everything. It is true that like theaters here and are trying, and especially because most of them are public, what they're trying to do, even though they're gonna lose a lot of money, they're trying to keep the contracts and move it a bit later. So hopefully.
So they're postponing everything. So hopefully
Yeah,
go back.
But it depends on what kind of a state of alert there is in the moment that they program you. They might be just half of the theater or 3/4, or I don't know how it's gonna be, because it's still every week is developing. Like it's like they're going through the numbers and like, but I mean, it's just move. And what is good is kind of like they made some help for the dancers and for the people that works in the theaters.
I have one last question from someone, and I love this question because it's something that I think about. What do you think is the future of dance? And have you thought about that? It's a strange question that I get asked also.
I mean,
so I always ask it just because it's interesting to me.
The La La Land future of dance is that we get to a place that in the program, for example, when I get here to Alicante is a touristic city. And so the main thing is things for entertainment, but not really the arts. And even though we have a theater, a really nice theater, and it has programmation the whole year, dance is at 10%. And it makes me sad. It makes me really sad, because it's like if a public institution is saying that a 10% is enough, what kind of respect they're gonna have? The people, you are the one that you know how to teach them, but you have to guide them. So I hope the future of dance is that we are equal. Also circus, that is also a lot of people are doing circus. Like all the art scenes, we are equal. That's the future. But for that, I guess we have to really get together, and we show that we really need that.
I think that's spot on. If we don't work together, and I think that is going to be the most important thing we could do. I think uniting against what's happening now, and so we work in common against these external things that happen to us, and also to get that respect is going to be important. But what I'm most excited is to continue seeing the work you make, because I've loved it from the minute I saw it, and I'm glad to still be part of seeing you grow and seeing you make work. So I want to
thank you very much.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I want to thank you so much for being with you. You are amazing. Thank you everyone for being with us at Choreographers and Cocktails this week. I hope that you will join us next week. We are doing a work by Ramon Ollier, Bury Me Standing. So another Spaniard, so we'll bookend that. But stay with us with Be Unidos. Thank you again, Gustavo.
Thank you,
Adiós,
everyone.
amigos.
Ciao.
Ciao.